On this F150 with the 2.7 EcoBoost, P0010 points us toward the variable camshaft timing control side. In plain terms, the PCM may not be seeing the VCT actuator or solenoid control circuit behave the way it expects. The truck may have a check engine light, may run rough, may feel down on power, or may have cam timing behavior that is not being controlled cleanly. Broadly, this can involve the VCT solenoid circuit, power feed, PCM control wiring, connector condition, oil pressure or cam timing related concerns, VCT alignment, the phaser, or radio frequency interference. For this episode, we're staying on the P0010 electrical diagnostic path. Start with the basic system checks and pull the VCT related codes with the ignition on. If any camshaft position sensor codes are present, handle those first before chasing P0010. If the P0010 path is active, continue into the VCT circuit checks. If no codes are present, but the symptom is still there, move into the symptom-based path instead of forcing this circuit test. Before running the self-test, make sure the engine is at operating temperature. Then check whether P00100 or P001017 is present. If it is present, go straight to the solenoid resistance test. If it is not present, do a thorough wiggle test on the VCT harness and recheck. If the code shows up during that harness movement, continue with the circuit testing. If it does not, pause this path and move into the intermittent or no-code diagnostic direction rather than guessing at parts. With the ignition off, disconnect the VCT solenoid tied to the current P0010 fault path. Work on the suspect VCT solenoid indicated by the DTC. On this 2.7 EcoBoost procedure, the listed component side connector pin pairs are C1542 pin 2 to C1542 pin 1, C1369 pin 2 to C1369 pin 1, C1370 pin 2 to C1370 pin 1, and C1625 pin 2 to C1625 pin 1. Measure the solenoid resistance. If it is between 5 ohms and 14 ohms, continue to the internal short check. If it is not between 5 ohms and 14 ohms, install a new variable camshaft timing solenoid. Clear the PCM DTCs and repeat the self-test. Next, check the suspect VCT solenoid for an internal short. The listed component side connector pins for this engine are C1542 pin 2, C1369 pin 2, C1370 pin 2, and C1625 pin 2. If the resistance is greater than 10,000 ohms, move on to the VPWR feed check. If the resistance is not greater than 10,000 ohms, install a new variable camshaft timing solenoid. Clear the PCM DTCs and repeat the self-test. Use the exact connector and meter reference for the suspect solenoid you have identified. If that identification or reference point is not clear, pause, recheck the earlier diagnostic path, and avoid guessing. Now check the VPWR circuit for an open. Turn the ignition on and measure voltage at the applicable connector pin for the suspect VCT solenoid. C1542 pin 1, C1369 pin 1, C1370 pin 1, or C1625 pin 1. If the voltage is greater than 10.5 volts, the feed side has passed this check and you move to the control circuit open test. If it is not greater than 10.5 volts, repair the open circuit, clear the PCM DTCs, and repeat the self-test. With the ignition off, disconnect the PCM connector and check the VCT control circuit for an open. The listed connector to PCM pin pairs are C1542 pin 2 to C1232E pin 37, C1369 pin 2 to C1232E pin 81, C1370 pin 2 to C1232E pin 99, and C1625 pin 2 to C1232E pin 36. If the resistance is less than 5 ohms, continue to the short to ground check. If it is not less than 5 ohms, repair the open circuit, clear the PCM DTCs, and repeat the self-test. Next, check the VCT control circuit for a short to ground at the suspect solenoid circuit. The listed connector pins are C1542 pin 2 C1369 pin 2, C1370 pin 2, and C1625 pin 2. If the resistance is greater than 10,000 ohms, move on to the short to voltage check. If it is not greater than 10,000 ohms, repair the short circuit, clear the PCM DTCs, and repeat the self-test. Then check the VCT circuit for a short to voltage. Start with the ignition off. Then turn the ignition on for the voltage check at the applicable connector pin. C1542 pin 2, C1369 pin 2, C1370 pin 2, or C1625 pin 2. If any voltage is present, repair the short circuit, clear the PCM DTCs, and repeat the self-test. If no voltage is present, continue to the PCM connector inspection and operation check. At this point, check for correct PCM operation. Disconnect all PCM connectors and inspect for pushed-out pins and corrosion. Reconnect all PCM connectors and make sure they seat correctly. Then verify whether the concern is still present. If it is still present after that connector inspection and reseating, install a new powertrain control module and complete the required RVC generation. If the concern is gone, the system is operating correctly at this time, and the issue may have been caused by a loose or corroded connector. The key on P0010 is to prove the solenoid first, then prove the feed, the control circuit, shorts, and connector integrity before condemning a module. Keep verification separate from testing. Clear the PCM DTCs. Repeat the self-test after a repair and confirm the code stays gone. For more diagnostic training, visit stepdiagnostics.com.